Hello, I'm Valerie.
And I'm Derek, and we're here to talk to you about an important change happening within the intelligence community.
Right now, I'm sure you're wrestling with tough demands and challenges in your work supporting the IC mission. You may see little connection between the topic of performance management and getting your job done. But we'd like to challenge you to change your thinking about performance management. Specifically, we'd like to introduce you to the IC's new performance management system and explain why it'll have a positive impact on the IC community.
And we're going to briefly introduce the new performance management system, and then we'll discuss its core framework that will apply across components. Now, each component will further customize this system so that it will work for you. Now, we'll start by talking about the purpose of the system and its features. Now, hopefully, you will see how it can directly benefit you, your colleagues, and your agency.
Let's start by explaining why this new IC-wide performance management system is being implemented. For the first time in the IC's history, all of our civilian personnel will be evaluated against a common set of performance elements that are critical to our community's mission. In 2006, while serving as the Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence, General Hayden expressed the importance of a new IC performance management system when he said, "We must begin now, as a community, to craft a common compensation architecture for the entire IC civilian workforce. That architecture must reward high performers, maximize management flexibility, and maintain a consistent, level playing field across and among all the various IC elements." It was also clear from employees' responses to the IC Employee Climate Survey that they had concerns regarding performance management. The survey told us that employees thought pay was not based on performance, promotions were not based on merit, and poor performers were not held accountable.
The new performance management framework directly addresses these concerns and brings with it several additional benefits. Specifically, the new system will reinforce and reward excellent performance of mission-critical behaviors. By rewarding employees who are effectively performing their jobs, the system will recognize and encourage high performance. And this can help the IC identify and retain its talented employees. Another benefit is it creates a unified performance management system across all components within the IC. There will be similar performance expectations for employees, and managers will be using similar rating methods based on the accomplishment of performance objectives and common performance standards. Now, this unified system is a real benefit to the IC because employees across offices, organizations, and agencies will be evaluated more consistently. This will also help employees more easily move between and within different components. Now, finally, the new system will strengthen the sense of community within the IC and foster collaboration. With common skills and work behaviors rewarded across components, employees can feel a greater sense that they're all working for the same overall intelligence mission, regardless of which component they belong to. These three benefits were the key reasons for implementing a new performance management system across the IC.
The new system is part of a larger human capital agenda to enhance the effectiveness of the IC. The new human capital strategy includes helping the IC to recruit and keep top talent, plan employee career paths, and create a leader succession plan. In this system, part of employees' pay will be directly linked to their performance. To do this, a solid performance management system is needed that allows for consistent and accurate evaluations of performance.
Now, linking pay to performance is not new in the federal government. In fact, similar pay for performance systems have been successful in other agencies, such as NGA. Here's what we've learned from these systems. They can be leveraged to reinforce and reward effective performance. A common performance management system will encourage collaboration and help strengthen intelligence efforts. Employees will feel more fairly rewarded for their contributions and will be more motivated to perform. Managers and employees prefer a system that allows them to differentiate among levels of performance and reward strong performers while also supporting any need to deal with employees who are not adequately carrying out their duties. Managers also stress the importance of constant feedback throughout the year and the need to deal with performance problems immediately. Employees should not be surprised at their performance evaluation because it has been an ongoing dialogue.
To ensure that the new system is effective in the IC, three principles guided the system's development: merit, transparency, and fairness. Merit refers to basing rewards on performance. Transparency involves having clear expectations for performance and clear procedures in place to make sure that all employees understand how the system works, how decisions are made, and what rights they have to protect them throughout the process. Finally, the system was developed to be fair to all employees and provide equal opportunities for rewards and recognition. Performance standards must be established at the beginning of each performance cycle, feedback must be provided continuously, and decisions must be documented and supported by evidence.
Now that we have a better understanding of the purpose of the new system, let's highlight some of its key features. First, all employees will be evaluated based on what they achieve. That is, what objectives or results did the employee achieve across the performance period? For example, an employee may be expected to provide financial reports each quarter that accurately summarize program operations. Second, all employees will be evaluated on how they achieve the results. Now, continuing with our example, several skills are required to develop financial reports. An employee must be able to gather and evaluate information to create the report, use his or her technical expertise to determine what to include, and effectively communicate the information in the report. Not only is the final report important, but how the employee goes about developing an accurate report is also important.
An additional video and supplementary training will specifically address how to develop measurable objectives that are linked to organizational goals. Another important component of the performance management system is a core set of performance elements that apply across the IC to describe how employees perform their work. Let's take a look at these performance elements.
In accountability for results, employees are expected to take responsibility for their work by establishing priorities and using their time and resources effectively to achieve results. Supervisors are expected to accept responsibility for and achieve results through the contributions of their subordinates.
In communication, employees are expected to effectively understand and convey information. IC supervisors are expected to use effective communication skills to build cohesive work teams, develop individual skills, and improve performance.
In critical thinking, employees are expected to use analysis, creativity, judgment, and systematic approaches to gather and evaluate information to inform decisions. IC supervisors are expected to establish a work environment where employees feel free to engage in open, candid exchanges of information.
In engagement and collaboration, employees provide information and knowledge to others and demonstrate teamwork to achieve results. They're expected to build and leverage collaborative networks of coworkers, customers, and other stakeholders within the organization and across the IC. The accomplishment of employees' objectives will not only depend on their own contributions, but also the extent to which they demonstrate teamwork and leverage their networks to get the job done. IC supervisors are, in turn, expected to create an environment that promotes teamwork, engagement, and collaboration.
In personal leadership and integrity, employees are expected to show personal initiative, integrity, innovation, and respect for diversity. IC employees are also expected to demonstrate core organizational and IC values, such as a commitment to excellence and the courage to express professional views.
In technical expertise, employees are expected to acquire and apply knowledge, subject matter expertise, tradecraft, and the technical competency needed to achieve results. These 6 performance elements will apply to all IC employees other than supervisors and managers.
Supervisors and managers will be evaluated on a slightly different set of performance elements. They will be evaluated on accountability for results, communication, critical thinking, and engagement and collaboration, just as all employees are. But they will also be evaluated on leadership and management proficiency. In leadership, supervisors and managers are expected to achieve organizational goals by creating a shared vision within their organization. promoting diversity and collaboration, motivating people to meet their objectives, and recognizing and rewarding excellent work. As leaders, they are held to the highest standards of ethical conduct and personal integrity. They are the IC role models who link what employees do with the greater goals of protecting and serving our nation.
In management proficiency, IC supervisors and managers are expected to leverage their technical proficiency to organize and prioritize resources to meet organizational objectives. In doing so, supervisors and managers are expected to set clear performance expectations, provide feedback, evaluate employee contributions, and link ratings and rewards to these contributions. These performance elements reinforce the core values of the IC. Employees and managers will be evaluated on things like information sharing, building and leveraging collaborative networks, taking personal initiative, and demonstrating the courage and conviction to express their professional views. Now let's take a look at some examples of how these performance elements actually are reflected in the jobs of IC employees. In this scenario, Stephen is planning and organizing a panel session for a technical intelligence conference. Pablo is a colleague within the same department.
Hey, Pablo. Do you have a minute?
Sure.
I might have mentioned this before. I'm co-chairing a session for the Technical Intelligence Conference next month.
Right. I heard they added that session at the last minute. Are you having any trouble pulling it together?
Well, it's been a challenge to plan the session and still balance my other projects, but I've been able to reorganize my time, and I think I've managed to pull together a pretty exciting panel.
What topics are you covering?
Well, the session will be about how technologies can help us to obtain intelligence in new ways. So far, I've got experts from NSA, Department of Energy, DIA, NGA, and CIA ready to speak on a range of technological and scientific innovation.
That sounds great. Do you have all the speakers you need?
Well, that's the thing. I wanted to include one more speaker to cover technological systems in space. I wanted to ask you if you had any recommendations on who might be a good person for that.
I would probably reach out to Frank Mahoney at NRO. I read some reports about their intelligence tools. They're doing some really interesting stuff with special sensors. I've seen Frank at a conference speak in a similar panel. He's a really dynamic speaker.
Yeah, he sounds ideal for this. Thanks for your help.
This scenario depicted several performance elements. First, Stephen illustrated accountability for results because he identified and readjusted his work priorities to successfully plan the conference session. He was able to organize his time effectively to coordinate speakers and put together the content of the session quickly. Stephen also showed engagement and collaboration by reaching out to his network to find the speakers for the session. Finally, Stephen illustrated technical expertise by using his knowledge of intelligence technologies to select appropriate content for the session.
In this second scenario, Khalil, a budget analyst, is meeting with his supervisor, Rhonda, to discuss the financial projection for an upcoming project.
Rhonda, do you have a minute?
Sure, Khalil, come on in, have a seat. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I finished my financial projection for the new electrical power system. It's great. I think it will be a lot more cost effective than the old system. Anyway, I'd like to get your feedback on this.
Sure, Khalil, but first let me say thank you for volunteering for this assignment. I mean, I know it's a pretty detailed project. How does it look?
Well, I've gotten pretty far with the research. I've gathered and analyzed background information and trends. Here are some of that information and a few charts that I put together.
Okay.
Based on the data, I think this project will need to make several assumptions. You'll see that the attrition rate and the inflation rate are listed at the bottom of the chart.
I see.
This projection seems to be consistent with all other projects that are similar in scope.
Yeah, I think this really looks good so far.
Thanks.
And I like how you've included information from projects in the past.
Great.
Yeah. Let me take some more time to finish reading this and I'll get back to you.
No problem.
All right.
This scenario depicted several performance elements. First, Khalil illustrated critical thinking because he gathered background information on historical data and trends. Then, he evaluated that information to develop his financial projection. Khalil also demonstrated technical expertise by applying his technical knowledge of what needed to be included in a financial projection, such as an assumption about inflation. Communication was reflected when Khalil presented financial information to Rhonda in the form of charts and spreadsheets. IC employees often use a variety of ways to effectively summarize and communicate information to others. Finally, this scenario also illustrated personal leadership and integrity. Khalil volunteered to take on a difficult assignment. He also took the initiative to obtain feedback from Rhonda on his work to ensure his projection was accurate.
Now let's take a look at a scenario that illustrates the two additional performance elements applicable to supervisors and managers. Nick is a supervisor in human resources. Raj and Connie are two of his employees.
Good morning. I called this meeting to talk with both of you about our goals for training this year. The demand for our first level and second level supervisory training courses is skyrocketing, which makes sense since we've had so many retirements over the past couple of years. One of our goals now is to increase course offerings for supervisors by 15%.
I completely agree. Those courses are filling up quicker than ever. We definitely need to do something.
I would like both of you to help in developing a strategy to meet these needs. Raj, I want you to work on a plan for scheduling and coordinating these additional courses. And can you determine the additional financial and staffing resources we'll need to meet this goal?
Absolutely, Nick. I'll get started on that right away.
Great. Connie, I would like your help with developing a communication plan. We've operated with the same level of course offerings for some time, so we'll need to get the word out that we are addressing the course shortage.
Sure, I'll work on it.
I'd like your plans in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that sounds doable.
Sounds good.
Hey, Nick. You wanted to see me?
Yeah. I reviewed your plan for additional training offerings, and I wanted to provide you with some feedback.
Okay.
Your proposal for scheduling was good. Capitalizing on back-to-back sessions to minimize travel costs to presenters was a great idea.
As you know, scheduling can be really tricky, but in addition to saving us money, I think we were able to offer these courses in a much more efficient manner.
I agree. I also reviewed your financial and staffing analysis, and most of your projections for facilities, materials, and presenters were on target, but I did notice one gap.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It looks like you didn't include additional staff time for preparation, actually.
Yeah, well, look at that. Looks like you're right. I don't think I really thought about that. You know, I think I was a little bit more focused on the additional staffing required at the training sessions themselves.
Well, why don't you think about the prep time and come back to me in a couple of days with your revised plan?
Okay, Nick. I'll do that.
Okay, thanks.
This scenario depicted both of the performance elements that apply to supervisors and managers. First, Nick demonstrated the leadership performance element by communicating his goals for the division and mobilizing his employees to address those goals. Nick also illustrated management proficiency. After reviewing Raj's plan, Nick provided timely and constructive feedback to facilitate the achievement of the task and ultimately the goal of the division. These two performance elements demonstrate the importance of supervisory and managerial behaviors to achieving results across IC components.
In addition to addressing what was achieved and how it was achieved, the new performance management system requires a common rating system be used across the community. The common rating levels of performance evaluation are outstanding, which requires extraordinary accomplishment; excellent, which requires employees to exceed performance expectations; successful, which means meeting all performance expectations; minimally successful, which means that the employee needs improvement. The use of this rating is optional, so not all components will have this level in their rating scale. Unacceptable, which means the employee failed to meet one or more of the critical elements or objectives.
Because the intelligence community has chosen to link performance management results with decisions about salary increases and bonuses, there has to be an added emphasis on applying common IC rating standards.
The heads of the IC components may provide rating and reviewing officials with guidance to ensure that rating levels and general standards are applied strictly and consistently across their organization. However, IC components will not impose fixed numeric limitations on the assignment of any rating level.
Each employee's evaluation is subject to review and oversight. The reviewer, a management official at a higher level than the rater, will review and approve the evaluation to ensure consistency between and among raters. Each IC component will provide for an oversight process to prevent unlawful discrimination, ensure component-wide rating rigor and consistency, as well as compliance with IC policies, prior to use of such ratings in personnel and pay decisions.
IC employees may request reconsideration of their evaluations of record through informal and/or formal processes. In accordance with component procedures, employees may first request informal resolution through their management chain. If the issue is not resolved, employees may file a formal request in accordance with component or departmental grievance policies and procedures. IC components will track reconsideration requests and final resolutions to ensure proper application and enforcement of performance evaluation policies and processes.
The DNI will conduct oversight of performance management policies across the IC and will establish community reporting requirements.
Now you should have a better understanding of the new performance management system. This system can have a positive impact on the way work is conducted in the IC. Rewarding people in line with what they've contributed will help to motivate them to perform well in the future.
That's right. In order for the community to achieve excellence, the IC must continue to raise the bar for what it means to be outstanding. Employees need to understand that it's completely acceptable to be at the successful performance level, and that the outstanding level is reserved for the employees whose performance truly stands out. The new standardized processes of the system will help the IC get there.
One other thing that will help is that the system will encourage supervisors and managers to provide constant feedback throughout the appraisal period. It's really important for supervisors and employees to have an ongoing dialogue about performance.
You know, there are a lot of challenging issues that supervisors have to handle in any performance management process. Things like making sure that they're evaluating performance in the same way as other supervisors, and accurately differentiating between low, successful, and outstanding levels of performance by using the full rating scale. A substantive training program will help supervisors tackle these challenging issues.
Hopefully, this video has helped you gain a better understanding of the new performance management system in the IC.
Thank you very much for your commitment to the mission. Your contributions are vital in the effort to keep our nation strong and secure.